we are going to learn about structures in C. So we are going to learn first what is the uh, characteristics or the features of structures and why we go for the concept of structures, what's the use of it. So as per this, the definition of the structure is given. So what is structure? Structure is a collection of elements of different data type. So structure consists of different data type declarations. Definitions are going to be later. Only it contains the declarations of different data type. That means a variable with different data types. And this structure is used to create user defined data type. So structure is considered like it is called as a user defined data type. And it is okay, so user defined data type in C considered, and it's a collection of non-homogeneous elements. That means it consists of multiple variables with different combination of data type. So it is non-homogeneous elements it can support. And user defined data type hold multiple values of different data type. So it defines a record. That means about an employee, you want to store the entire details, you can put it inside the structure and you can process it. And about the bank details of the entire process related to the bank, you want to store it with the help of a structure. You want to access for different combination of account holders, that is possible. So likewise, you can create records with the help of, if you want to work with the different data, so that is easy and quick with the help of the concepts of structures. And when you want to combine elements of different data type into a group, that is also possible. Elements are defined in the structure are called members of the structure. So a structure is a collection of different data type of elements under a single name that act as a user defined data type in C. Now we are going to see about the syntax of the structure. So the structure syntax is, it starts with the keyword struct and then it is followed by the structure name, and it consists of the variable, the member variable declaration. So data type followed by the variable name semicolon. Multiple variables of same data type can be declared in one single statement itself. Likewise, n number of declarations you can put, which are the variables you want to use it and want to keep it inside the structure. And you can access only with the help of this particular structure alone. These variable accessing is possible. And when you close a structure, you have to include a semicolon at the end. So this is the basic syntax of a structure. Now we are going to see about just an example replacement for this structure member variables. So consider there is a structure called student. So we are going to store the details of a student. So the records belongs to the students are going to be stored. So consider the name of the student, register number, and the percentage details. But all these are combination of different data types. So this is a character array and this is an integer. So structure is a user defined data type which consists of multiple different data type based member variables here. At the end you have to close it. So different combination of data can be stored and accessed with the help of a structure. And when you want to create an access the structure, you need a dot symbol. You have to create an object for a structure, and that is called a structure variable, and then you have to access with the help of a structure object you have to create. Then you can access the structure variable with the help of a dot symbol. In the next slide we are going to see about how it is possible with the help of a small program. Okay. So this program is created for a student, and three details we are going to store, that is the name and the roll number and the percentage. We are going to read, we are going to store in a structure, and then finally we are going to read it back and display back to the screen. So first you have to start with the keyword struct. S is supposed to be small case. Then it is followed by the object name, that is the student, and then the different combination of data type, the variable declaration. At last, you have to, when you close, you have to create an object for the structure. So this part is called, you can define the structure at the end. After writing the declaration, then you can start with the definition of the structure. So one object you have created, and it is just like a normal variable naming part. So you have to create an object for the structure at the end, and you have to put a semicolon. Then you have to start the main, and inside the structure also one more student data you want to store and access. So you have to create another one object. So multiple objects belongs to the same structure can be created. Each object which points out a set of student, another set of student, like that. Okay, so now you have to read the input from the user for with the help of this particular structure variable. So you, for example, if you access student one dot, I have told you like the dot symbol is used for accessing its member variable. So the structure name dot the member variable, and every time when you use, okay, so structure one object dot member variable. So when you read, okay, the set of first student is ready. Now you can start printing it. So wherever you, instead of a normal variable, structure variable, you can access with the help of the object that you have created for the structure, and then with the help of dot symbol, and then you have to access. This is how one set of student data is stored. Another set of student data, if you want to store and if you want to read, then you have to access with the help of second set of so it does have it just improve the readability as well as the usability as well. No need to repeat the variable declarations, but at the same time you can group different students record of different combination of data. So that is possible. This is for one set of student. The next set of student, if you want to define after this, you have to start using, okay, read the details of the student 2, and then you have to replace this 1 by 2, and then you have to replace the printing part. So the same structure, when you point out with the student 1, the details belongs to student 1 is read about the student name, and when you put student 2 dot student name, the student 2 names are going to be read. So this is how you have to create the structure, then you have to create the object for the structure, and then you can access the structure. The next part is about the memory allocation of the structure. Consider how much memory space will be allocated for this particular structure. So when the memory will be created, when we create the variable of the particular structure. So here the structure name is student, and inside that there are three combination of data variables are declared. So here the character data type will take 1 byte. So here 30 characters are going to be stored. So 30, this declaration consists of, so 30 into 1, so 30 bytes. For this, it allocates 30 bytes. And if it is an integer based data, okay, as per your processor, okay, consider here it as a 4 bytes replacement. And if it is a float, okay, 4 bytes. So likewise, okay, then you have to do the summing up of all these combinations. So totally 36 bytes will be allocated for this particular structure. So this is how the memory allocation calculation is going to be. So each data type, and you have to mention, okay, how many times it is repeated or how many characters are present. Based on that, you have to calculate for individual declaration. Finally, you have to do the sum for calculating how much memory space is allocated for this particular structure. What is array of structure? For example, if you want to store 60 students data, so it is very difficult, because when, for example, here comes the program is given, for example, 3 set of student, the same detail which is going to be read for student 1, this one, student 2 is this, student 3. Likewise, we want to read and print or do some process report generation for 60 students. So it is very difficult, and you cannot declare like, okay, S1 to S60. It's very complex to remember those objects and accessing part variable. So a lot of mistakes used to happen. To avoid this, okay, so this is also possible when few objects are there. When there are more objects are there, you can go for array of structures concept. So what is array of structure concept? For example, here two employee details if you want to access, okay, the array size of, for example, when you want to create an object, so at the time you have to mention object as an array, that is array of object you have to create, and you have to mention its size. 2 means, okay, 0 and 1. So index 0 point out employees 1, and index 1 point out the employee 2. So this is how two employee details, but only one set of code you have to write. With the help of for loop, this array access is possible. So here come, there is a program which is given. See here, this is the student data, and here the size of the structure is, the array size is going to be 5. So this is for 5 students details. So it is very dynamic and easy for writing the code. So put the code inside a for loop, and access each and every time the array, the structure variable as an array of structure. So st of I, when you have given first term, it is going to be 0. So index 0, when it points out, you can find out student 1 detail. Index 1 point out student 2 details. So that this is how. But once it is done, you can, for example, here 5 student details, the starting part is with reading part, but definitely it is going to be created in their memory, and like a small cell, each cell which stores the corresponding data, and later on you can access with its index. It is possible to retrieve those data. So this is how array of structure will help you when you want to work with huge volume of data. So the next concept is structures and pointers. How you can use the concept of pointers inside the structure to make it more secure, and when you want to work with the memory location very fast, the code may execute very fast. So how you can do that with the help of structures and pointers. So here when you create an object, you have to create a normal object and a pointer also. So this pointer which is going to point this normal object address, and then you can start accessing it. So create two objects, that is the pointer one, another one is normal one. So look at this program. There is a structure called person, okay, so which is going to store age and weight of the person. So this is for only one person detail, age and weight of only one person detail. You are going to read and then you are going to print, and any other manipulations are there, you can do in between that. So how you can start create an object for this structure at this case. So you have to create struct and then followed by the object name and one pointer variable comma, then the normal object for this structure you have to create. So this pointer variable can store the address of this normal object, right? So person one. So when you start accessing it, at that time you have to start using the pointer. So if you want to use it in the scanf statement, definitely it is supposed to be an ampersand symbol and followed by the object name. But here when you apply the concept of pointers in structure, you have to use the arrow mark for accessing each and every time the variable. So here it's entirely different from the normal structure when you use the concept of pointer. There is no dot. The replacement for dot is arrow. Usually we use the access by structure name dot variable name. But here structure name followed by the arrow mark and then variable name, since it is a pointer object. So likewise you have to read all the variable. And when you want to print at the time, there is no need of stars. Straight away how you will print, we replace this by dot by just arrow mark. This is how you can access the members of the pointer. It just run the code faster as well as more secure when you work with the concept of pointers. Like the same thing you can apply in the concept of array of structures in that part also, but only difference is instead of dot, here there is a replacement of syntax as arrow. So this is how you can work with the structure. So far we have learned about structure. So the definition of the structure and what is the purpose of the structure, how to create a structure, how to declare the variables inside the structure, how the memories will be allocated for each and every variables which are available inside the particular structure, how to create an object for the structure. From the main you can create an object, or at the end of the structure definition itself, declaration part itself, you can start defining the object of that particular structure. Then how we can access a normal structure object, and how we can create an array of structures. Then how we can create the structure object by with the help of pointer, and how we can store the normal object in a pointer variable, and then how we can access it. So with the help of this concept, you can apply the concept of structure in different applications of project, and then you can store a large volume of data, and when you want to work with more number of users, you can run your code faster and you can run your code safe. So this is what structure is structure will be useful in real-time application.